Well, hello there, everybody. I'm not sure if it's saying it's live or not, but we're going to assume it is. A little bit of Steely Dan there, Glamour Profession. I love the lyrics in there. Celluloid bikers. That is just too far out. So, favored be unto all of us an abundant favor, being of service to ourselves and to others. And welcome, everyone. Got my Sky Pilot here, and we'll just give the old virtual hug. And to Jargo, who's out there in his kayak on the Puget Sound, much peace to you, my friend. And send us those vibes. It has to be beautiful out there. And there's Big Al speaking favor over you. And David Barry. Hello, my very good friend. Much, much love. Hello, Nina the Mystic. How are you doing, my dear? And Marsha, so good to say hello to you. Getting things back into the groove here, folks, and it's all good. Hey, Robert Veek, how you doing, my brother? Lost in Space, good to see you. And Peter the Meteor, what's up? Hey, Susie Q, much love. And David Castle, always much love to you, brother. Angel Gunn, how are you doing? Stella, good to see you. Good afternoon to you, myself. Reality Notification, too. Yeah, waiting for that. Hey, interesting that someone says this. So, guess what I got in over the weekend? Let me grab it. It's remarkably heavy for an electronic unit. Let's get the battery out. That's gooey. So, just to let everyone see. So I've haven't really had much time, get this here, to really have working with this, but I have done some work. And yeah, this one is like 2,000 times. So I can really get a good view on it. And yeah, I'm recording the data. But anyway, there you go. Let's see what else. Hey, Gaia, much love to you and Paul. Good to see you, my dear Loretta. What's up? Hey, Martin and Heidi. What's up? Good to see y'all. They're over there. Uh, and I always get this, but I think it's Norway. I think. So what else? Robin, what's good? Good to see you. Antiquarian Aquarian. Ah, so now that I know, okay, thank you. Hey, Kent, what's up? And Woke Dealer, Pink Oriza. What's up? I like that. Kelly L. What's going on? Emperor Rex. So um, on Wednesday, got a author coming on. I read his book. I'm reading his new one. He sent me and actually a working draft, I think, of the his new book. Anyway, Gary Nicholson will be coming on Wednesday. This is his book Triad. It's available on Amazon, and loved the story. Really did. Think you're going to find Gary to be interesting and fascinating, and I really, really enjoy where his head's at. So let's see. What else is going on tomorrow? Got Miss Trina. Looking forward to that. And so let's see. Hope everyone had a good Mother's Day. We humans, it's amazing what we do, what we invent, and how we position it. You know, it's really nothing more than a commercialized construct. You do realize that. Doesn't have a damn thing to do with motherhood, the feminine, or anything else. It's another trap. But we love adding sentimentality to it. And now we make it something special. And there we go. So, anyway, it's good to recognize at least one aspect, but I understand the cancel culture has now canceled the term mother, mom, grandmother, mama. Yeah, I'm sorry. That's no longer gone now. So, Like hell, it's gone. Exactly. Big Al wants me to remind everybody, go over on the Crystal Network, link below, and order the Soul Tribe cards. And it's a good thing. So do it. All right. It is cold here. I'm talking cold. In fact, right before I went live, I looked out, and when you see the rolling clouds coming off the mountains, you know there's a storm coming in, and this is turning out to be one of the coldest and wettest springs that I can remember here in the Mountain West, and it may basically foretell what the summer is going to be like. Our good friend Dwayne David over at um, Agenda 2030. Yeah, cold, man, cold. The link did not work. Okay, we'll update that. Pretty easy to do that. But y'all get the idea. You know where to go, and if you don't, well, don't be so lazy. Adon, Corny said, Wayne, I'm in the Middle East. It's not hot at all. Wow. You know, that's really interesting. And is it Adon? Is that right? I want to make sure I'm pronouncing that correct. It's in the 30s. Wow. Folks, it's really happening. I mean, I don't think we're going to have much of a growing season here. If it continues like this up in Rocky Mountain National Park, I think they're expecting up to 18 inches. There's a winter storm warning up there. So cold. I think it's going to be cold all summer long and going to be complete reversal. So we'll see. I think it's coming, folks. And you know, boy, I love how things segue. So obviously our planet is changing. We have a CME heading for us. Our sun popped off a solar filament. And okay, you can also email Al. Al, I'll get your email put in there and we'll get that going. So a filament lifted and the ejecta is heading spot on to Earth. Don't know what really to expect. I mean, even if it's let's say medium intensity, could really prove to be interesting. And it's very obvious our sun is coming alive. If you don't subscribe over to Ben Davidson's Suspicious Observers, you should. Um, it's a great place to learn. Things are changing. Last solar cycle that we came into, we had this thing called the Earth facing phenomenon. You know, sunspots would come around, active, popping on all sides and on the backside. And then when they come in front of the Earth, they stop. I don't think that we're going to get that lucky this time. I think it's already showing it's going to get interesting. Let's see what else is. I hate that ejecta. Hey, let me tell you what, it's we mark my words. And again, I credit Ben Davidson on the research, and anyone can go over there. You got the material. We're finding out for us humans, and mark my word on this. If it's not going to be this year, it'll definitely be going into next year. There will be, when they give the weather forecast, they're going to have to give exactly what is the geomagnetic condition of the Earth. Because when we get these heavy spikes, and this one's coming in, and interesting, it can be just the same when it's the opposite, a 0 KP index. It messes with us, messes with our head, messes with our body, messes with us big time. They're finding out people with neuromuscular diseases affected by these cosmic rays and these CME effects. Cardiac, same thing. It enhances dementia, Alzheimer's, sundowners. Yeah, things are changing. So that got me to thinking about, I read this paper and it was profound. Got to tell you, it really was. It impacted me. I saw something just pass behind me. Interesting. Anyone else see that? I'm gonna have to get that on the replay. But so if these cataclysms are coming, and it looks like the majority of the collective consciousness of humanity is trapped into doctrine, dogma. And in each one of these doctrines or dogmas, they're all predicated upon the worship of death, because they all end in this cataclysm of judgment, damnation, blah, 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 you know? And so, and really what they're hiding it in the guise of sacred, but really what it is worshiping death. I had some of the people, the meanest comments that I get, and go and look at the comments that writer Lee and I did on Thursday. I enjoyed that show. It really was eye-opening. It was the type of conversation that we should have more often. And synchronicity is everything. Excuse me. Okay. Because one thing led into another. Anyway, there was one person there that, I really feel sorry for some people. They're so constricted in their thought. They say they serve a loving God, but yet all of their actions are hate. All of their actions are condemnation. All of their actions lead to judging, which is interesting because if you read the book, the master said, love thy enemies. And in fact, if you read the magician Saul, or as people know him today as the Apostle Paul, and one of the greatest conundrums of the whole matrix of religion, in this case, Christianity, and it's not Judeo-Christian. That's an insult to the Jews. Don't say that. But anyway, Paul of Taurus, who is an interesting character, when he wrote in 1 Corinthians 13, the 13th chapter, verses 4 through 8, and those 4 verses are the ones that are completely ignored. One of the reasons why I left the religion, I never saw it in action. Never. Heard it preached, heard it slammed on the pulpit, and and that's pulling you into the pit. Yeah. So I feel sorry for people like that, because they don't realize that there's something greater than our beliefs. And if cataclysm is coming, that means death is riding on its coattails. So if these are two unavoidable eventualities, then these questions, and I challenge you to be very honest with yourself. And I want to start out by just having us first ponder something here. We look at these sometimes and we think that, well, that we're so advanced that, I got this down pat. I don't think we have it down. Folks, I have been purposely meditating at night before I sleep. And I got to tell you what, this is about as difficult as a challenge that I have ever encountered. And the question is, who am I? You can put it to yourself. Who are you? And here's what got me. So to describe, I asked for you to describe yourself without using the word me or I. However, these are the two that we self-identify with. But they're not the same. I mean, is there a me after I? If I remove I from the equation, and this comes particularly where ascension is concerned, I don't believe you're ever going to ascend anywhere until we get over this. There is no I. I doubt there's me. But bear with me. So is there a me after I? If I remove I from the equation, then ergo, I go with less ego. Do you want to go? You see? And then I meditate on this. I search for the origins of my thoughts. And I see consciousness as me. Where I came in, I don't know. I have seen a glimpse of a place. It's not the nothingness. I believe it's the place all come from. It is the place of the infinite possibilities of potentiality. And somehow along the way, my consciousness became I. I equate everything to my consciousness. The whole way that I have interfaced into this dimension, into this realm, is predicated on the foundation that I am consciousness. I put the challenge, describe yourself without using I or me. And this is just what I've experienced over this weekend, I purposely cut myself off from a lot of external stimuli and just wanted to focus in on this, removing I or me. What is there left? What is there left? There's consciousness. Now, whether it's an I or a me, not sure. But I know. I believe consciousness is more than thought. Here's the other thing. I began to ask my consciousness, what is my name? And I quickly began to realize there's not a single person who knows their name. All of us have been given a name. And that stripped us. That was part of the memory wipe. When you immediately begin to identify by the given name, you lose that connection to what your real name was. You had to have had a name before you came into this realm of consciousness. And so now I question in meditation, what is my name? I have a name. It's not this name. I've gotten to a place where a door is opened and it's unsettling. It's not a frightful thing. It's new. I have a name. I know I do. And now that I have put it into motion, and I don't know whether it's a door, whether it's a key, maybe it's a portal, I don't know. But I believe I've set the activation into process that before I leave this realm, and this is the conundrum, I believe if you know your real true name, you're not going to be in this realm very long. So the question I ask, then what am I? Isn't that interesting? Because we're all well familiarized with what one entity said, I am. Well, ain't that just so freaking profound? So what does that mean? You see, it's never an answer. The ambiguity is the trap. But it really gets back down to answering when I am there, whether I am in a prone position, whether I am in a meditative sitting position, I ask now, I seek, I look within, I can see, I don't need my eyes anymore, that there is something that I am becoming refamiliar with. But it starts with when you ask, well, what are you? We're not human beings. We are not this. We are in a realm of experience. Whether we've immersed ourselves into this by voluntarily or by force, but we are in this realm. And in this realm, you must have a name. Now, why they stripped us of our original name is a question we all should ponder, because then that begins to come into I again. When did I come into existence? You know, the belief is that, well, if you're of energy, you've been here since the very beginning. I don't know, not so quick on that, buckaroo. Let's just step down off your pony and let's talk a bit here about that, because it may very well be. You see, the problem with that vein of thought is that it is death. If you truly believe that we have been here since the very beginning, well, then that means we're already destined to die. I happen to think that there is an alternative thought to this. It becomes this point that creation never stops. Never. Creation cannot be stopped. The minute, the second, the nanosecond, the millisecond it does, everything stops. There's no more anything. Creation continues. That means that there are new essences, which we call souls, spirits, whatever, consciousnesses coming into existence. They don't contain all the knowledge of everything. They come from a realm where you think that that would be the case because that's where they come from. We all do. But I don't think the case is that we come fully loaded. And so it comes back to that question, then what is my true name? It seems to be very important. Name is identity. It's what gives you the tactile ability to interface into this realm. I have a name, Jim Croce. I have a name. Yeah. But that's the problem. It's a deception. We have become self-identified with the given name. And the problem is those given names are fully loaded packages. And the shit show that can come of a one person's life is because that's what was in the name. You had a parent, a couple, however, a mother, a father, who didn't really give a crap what your name was. And so because of they didn't give a crap what your name was, the given name that you were given is a name of crap. And your whole life is going to be a series of crap-filled situations. Whereas if the name is thoughtfully considered, weighed, valued. And when that name is given, that package comes with a whole different set of realities. The name alone will open the path and the doors. Many have abused that, but many have gone through life gifted. And that is why. Had you really known your true name, it is hypothesized that you could rule the universe. The name is that important. It gets deep. So then I ask myself, well, do I have a name? Now, if I'm identifying my self-existence into this realm as I, then I'm struggling here because I don't know who I am. I am fully cognitive and aware of the name. I get that. But are you cognitively aware of the fact it's not I? And if I is, then I has no name. The name given is not my name. And I'm convinced that there is a great wisdom here. There's a secret of secrets. And if you look at all the studies that and all the magic and all the rest of this, it's always the removal of, I think, who you really are. You're either invoking a name or you're submitting to a name. You're giving up your name. And it seems to have very heavy consequences in this realm when those things happen. Look at your birth certificate. They've stole from you billions of dollars. But you'll never believe that. But you have to have your birth certificate for a lot of different things, don't you? Oh, yeah. You got a number, not a name. Did you hear me? You see, that name is virtually useless in many situations because it's the number. Is the number in the name or the name in the number? And so the question I ask myself in my meditation in what did I call myself before this realm? I had to have a freaking name when I was in the birth canal. I just didn't say, well, what's your name? I ain't got a freaking clue, buddy. They're going to give me one. I don't buy that. Maybe you do. I don't know. But I see I had to have had an entity. Now, I'm not going to get off into the esoteric of this, of saying, well, reincarnation, did we pick our parents, our situation? I'm not talking about that. I think that's all the Monopoly game. Because the fact is, I've been stripped of my name. And quite frankly, it pisses me off. Because I had to have had an entity prior to this one, coming into this one. I mean, I just didn't snap into it and say, hey, what the freak is going on? You know, when the doctor smacked my ass. No, don't believe that. And then I have the question asked back to me in my meditation, do I need a name? Is there a place, a dimension, a realm where neither I nor me needs a name? I believe there may be a place that the essence of what I am is identified, recognized. Because where I am in my reality, and I think this will be proven upon my departure from this plane, is that it's really me. None of you exist. None of you have ever existed. When it really gets real here, the only real reality, universe, planes of existence is me. I don't know who the hell you people are. I interact with you in this plane because the hardcore reality is the same with you. When you meditate and you get within, it's only you. Now, I'm thankful that we do interact. Understand that this is merely a discussion. We're having a forum here. So do you need a name? The reality is, once again, the only universe exists, the only planes of existence is in you. It appears that's how it happens. And then you look at it and you go down further, then what does I mean? See, we all use I as a banner, as self-identification. Why I, and you put I as the descriptor. And in that I, it becomes so ambiguous because I truly don't know what the freak you mean when you say I. I don't even know what it means when I say I. What does I mean? Is it to be what? Is it basically this accumulation of everything, the kitchen sink? That's I. That's me. No, you said I was I. Well, yeah, but that's me. I don't know. Is there a place beyond I? And I think that there is. If we're part of a larger essence, then it would appear that when we depart this dimension, we go back to this essence. And within that essence, we're merged. There is no more I. That scares people because they think that their memories are going to be gone. Most likely not so. You share your experience with Source. Source does not know all. Source does not experience all. It's malleable, pliable, applicable. Sometimes it's practical. Sometimes it's impossible. But that's what Source is. We, in this realm, identify Source as I. We identify Source as God, as a personification of I. It's dangerous. Because when you start doing that, now you become subservient to I. Is I me? Am I old or am I young? I know there's a lot of debate on this. I mean, again, I contend that if creation is a perpetual essence of reality in multiple planes, then creation is always creating new with the old. I don't know if creation creates old. Maybe it's a process that can only be done by assimilating the experiences. Again, am I more than my name? I like this one. Do I need me? It would seem that I do. I mean, see, I know what I mean. And then you always hear people respond, well, you know what I mean. You know what I mean. And of course, people, being polite. Yeah, yes, 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 I do. When if they were truly honest, most people would look at the person going, I haven't a freaking clue what the hell you mean. Because what I mean isn't what I'm sure you mean. And then the question becomes, is I and me the same? Now, you think on the surface that the conversation would be ridiculous. But you see, that's the problem, because it's the simple things that I have found in life that trick up most people. And if you completely have ignored what I and me is, I mean, do you really think you're going to go when you die over into the spirit realm and they're going to care for your sorry ass? Do you really think that you're going? Because if it's the same here and it's there, you wouldn't have lived very long if there weren't older humans that would have taken care of you. You'd have died. Now, I don't know, so I think a lot of people are rolling the dice on this one going, well, yes, there'll be angels over there, and I'm going to be ushered into the gates of Halvon, or you're going to be going to hell. Yeah. I don't think so. I mean, I don't think it's going to be that way. I don't know where we get this cockamamie idea that everything is going to be so much better over there. It's a lie. It's an illusion. Listen, if you've got demons, evil spirits, good spirits, archangels that already exist in a co-dimensional existence, both in the ether realm, the spiritual realm, whatever you want to call it, and the physical plateau realm, then that tells me there's some badass hombres over there ready to kick yours and my ass. And I don't think hiding behind a name is going to be a shield or a protective for you, unless you have already begun to think this through. It's the question I'm asking myself: what is beyond I? If there is a place, an existence, a realm, a dimension where identity isn't important, it'll always be there. What do I need I for? Really, I is more about ego, isn't it? Yeah. It's about self-identification of my personality. Don't know. Gets back down to that whole thing of who am I? Now, some of you may not, say, well, I don't know if I really dig all that. That's cool. I can perfectly understand. I want to read something real quick, because I think that this has, give me a second here. Here we go. Listen to this. I really enjoyed this. Let me remove this panel. There we go. This is by Gregory M. Nixon. This is his thesis. This was so freaking cool. This is Beyond Death. He writes, it seems certain to me that I will die and stay dead. By I mean me, Greg Nixon, this person, this self-identity. I am so intertwined with this cosmos of life, bodies, ecosystems, symbolic intersubjectivity, and life on this particular planet that I cannot imagine this entity continuing alone without them. Folks, the way that this man expressed this it's beautiful. because I believe he has accurately described what each and every one of us, we shall in fact cross this path. He goes on and says, however, one may survive one's life by believing in universal awareness, perfection, and the peace that passes all understanding. Perhaps we bring this back with us to the source from which we began. Excuse me. Perhaps from which we begin changing it, enriching it. Ooh, I like that. What we bring back, think about it. Your experience, your essence is going to change source. We'll hear that talked about. Once we have lived, if we don't choose the eternal silence of oblivion by life denial, vanity, indifference, or simple weariness, the source learns and we awaken within it. Awareness, consciousness is universal. It comes with the territory. So maybe you will be one of the few prepared to become unexpectedly enlightened after the loss of body and self. You may discover your own apotheos, something you always were, but after a lifetime of primate experience, now much more. Since you are of the source, and since you have changed from life experience and yet retained the dream of ultimate awakening, plus you have brought those chaotic emotions and memories back to the source with you, though no longer yours, your life and memories have all mattered. Those who awaken beyond the death of self will have changed reality. Boop, baby. I got more onto this that we're going to get into, but yeah, this is, when I get into this, and because of the recent loss of my father, which, always brings death very personal because it's in the family, right? And now I bear the torch of my generation representing my father's legacy. And eventually that will be passed on to the next generation behind me. So for myself, since I no longer give account to any religion, I don't need it. And I'm not saying that other people should, do what you're here for a purpose. Learn. I think most people are dead by the time they reach their mid-20s because they become so indoctrinated into a belief system that their thinking is never original. It's controlled and contrived, and thus they never begin to expand out beyond that neural path that they've been on. Some have resurrections. Uh, Many are at that point now. When you come and you say, well, there isn't anything I need in religion. What is religion going to teach me? Why do I even need to consider religion? I haven't seen one religion that worked. None of them seem to have the ability to do anything but to divide us. And then once you start getting into that division thing, then what I call the nasties, they come in. That's jealousy, bitterness, resentfulness, and the whole list goes on. And then you spend the rest of your life in that circus. So there's nothing a religion can teach me. Now, there's much that I can find and learn through past cultures on this planet. Their belief systems, their customs. Yeah. But I love what the author said. Do not forget, ladies and gentlemen, you and I are monkeys. We are primates. That is our technical classification. We are animals. We are of the primate genus. A lot of people don't like that, but hey, go talk to the freaking architect. I didn't do it. I'm in the same suit that you are. It's like, I'm trying to figure it out as I go, And I think we've advanced at least a little bit more than throwing our feces at one another. But religion, in its construct, closes doors. It sets boundaries. I think it's what's held us back as a species. When I meditate and when I look within, I still question, why has not this species advanced? Why are we still at the measly 100 IQ point? Why is it that we haven't beaten death in advancing life? I don't think life would be very pleasant under current circumstances. And I was doing it this morning in meditation, and I continue to ask this, why does this species, you and I, sapiens, why are we hurting? We always hurt one another. We can't seem to live in peace. And then it begins into this whole question, well, then if I had a name prior to here, was my existence based on something totally different than this realm? Because I've come through life now where I'm adaptive to this realm. This is what I call reality. Reality is based upon not just what I see in the outside world, but what I see is in here. And is it just simply within my cerebral cortex? Is it simply within the cranium of my skull that my entire existence dwells? I've been out of my body, so I can say, well, there's something more to it than that. I've had 5 documented near-death experiences. Never feared any of them. The one where I was really already heading out, I have to say it felt like a sleep. There was a darkness, and I found the darkness to be soothing, be candid with you. And then the doctor pulled my ass back into this realm. But it's those experiences that have allowed me to understand that there is a realm beyond this one. But again, my imagination, my thoughts are all based on the ability to interface into this realm using my 6 senses. I have 5 that I had to learn, and I had to remember my 6th. Isn't that odd? It's true. We're taught. When I was into what we would call exorcisms, the thing I found out about the true demonics. Now, these are spirits that I think they're more hybrid in nature. I don't think they're what churches taught them to be. But nevertheless, there is something that does exist, that does take possession of people's bodies. And the thing that I found most curious about when I saw many of them manifesting was that they don't know how to interface in this realm. They're spirit beings. And it's very clear that they become overwhelmed. And when they become overwhelmed, because of the way our bodies are designed, that adrenaline is being dumped into you, regardless if you're causing it or not. And they don't know, for instance, touch. They don't understand the whole thing of touch. They don't understand the thing of strength. They don't understand the sense of smell, taste. They're familiar with all of them, but it's kind of much like you flying on a 787 Dreamliner. I've flown on many of them, but I couldn't fly the damn thing. I mean, you look into the cockpit, in which I've had the opportunity to see it and be in there. It's like looks like a space capsule, but it's the same thing. And we spend all of our lives learning how to balance these five senses, all the while forgetting the one that really counts the most, the one that I believe that we've came in with, and that was our sixth sense that opens doors to the ability of the spirit realm. And once you become familiar with your six senses, then the others open up. I think that's just the way it is. I could be wrong, but who knows? And then it gets into this whole thing. Do we become so self-identified with our name that we associate everything of our existence, everything that we've accomplished, everything that we have done is directly tied to your name? And so when you pass over into the other side, if someone was to ask you, what is your name? You might find a confusion because maybe they really do know your name, your real name. I don't know. The name that you had before you came into this realm. And I have a sense that there is going to be having to be some time. I think there is a sleep that will come for many, because the way I look at it, it took us a lifetime to learn how to interweave, how to interface into this realm. And then suddenly we find ourselves back into our natural state, and we have forgotten what that natural state is. And it may be at this time of the natural state when we become most vulnerable, because I don't believe it's all, how should we say, lollipops and unicorns on the other side. I think the other side is a very dangerous place. I think that if you get off into realms and to other things, it can literally trap you for whoever knows however long. We're just talking. That paper that I was reading to you has a lot of openings of the thought on this. Paul Joe, I want to talk about, I'm glad you said that, the frequency. We seem to be focused in on frequency, and we know it's true. If you walk into a room where there's angry people, you know the frequency. You walk into a room where there's a lot of happy people, you know the frequency in assorted ways. And it's interesting because a name is a frequency. It's how many of the ancient languages worked. And in fact, if you look at particularly the Mesoamerican culture, names, the sound, the vibration, how it's pronounced, how it is orated out is important. It becomes powerful. They say that there are those that we, because of our vocal cords and our command of it, that we can open portals with just our voices, which means that would imply that we have the ability in our natural state to do that anyway. And then it gets back into this whole thing. Is that a trap? I mean, I don't know for y'all, and boy, this hour's gone by quick. I go deep places when I really get into my spirit, I guess you would say. And I got to say very candidly, I don't ever run into where there's another energy opposing me, oppressing me. And I often wonder, let's say I have been around for 10,000 cycles, however long a cycle is. And let's say that they're not all been here on this planet. They have been in other realms, potentially other dimensions. Maybe I've been in an advanced realm and decided to come back down for a particular purpose. Who knows? That would all identify and say that it's all still I. It's based upon an entity where really ego is still the master. Would the option be, as I pass over and transcend to the other side, to say, I don't want any more of this? Screw it. I don't want any more of the duality. I don't want any more as to accomplishments. I don't want any more to do with any of this. In fact, I know that I am within myself consciousness. And I'm going to choose to walk away from all this. I'd rather be in the place of the unlimited potentiality of possibilities than to be stuck back here in this ever dog chasing its tail of about self-ego, something that I accomplished, something that I did that will be remembered for the ages. I don't want it. Because to me, that shows a direct tie that I haven't figured it out yet. That I somehow have a connection that I want to keep here. I don't like this planet. I'm going to be candid with you. Love some of the people I've met, but overall, I don't like this place. It's a terrible place. And when I exit this realm, I don't want to ever come back to it. There's nothing here. Wealth holds nothing for me. Nothing. Power, it's an illusion and a delusion. No. I think that there is a place where we all many of us will end up. We don't need I anymore. It really comes down to it. This is where I think the true union of spirits come together, because it's when we realize it's no longer the individual, but maybe it is, and true, it's the collective essences of many of individuals who've given that up. Just a thought. Ba-bump. So anyway, there you go. I hope you enjoyed the class today. Anyway, it is fun. I mean, you know, and maybe you just get to a point in life where, you know, I guess I get tired of choosing sides. I said recently in a dream I had, I don't want to choose sides. I don't want to be on any side. I haven't even figured out what side I'm on. You know, am I for myself or am I against myself? You see, that's where the term Satan comes in. Many people get confused. Satan doesn't exist as an actual being, other than into the construct of what the collective have basically built as a golem. But in true essence, each individual who accuses themselves to themselves are their own Satan. And, you know, I tell people all the time, stop accusing yourself. Stop talking down to yourself. Stop being the one that where you curse yourself, because you are your own Satan. You know, let me tell you something. In the end, the only rule book that counts is the one that you wrote. They don't give you one when you come in. They teach you many different rules. But in the end, what was your rule book? The simplest answer is there are no rules. People say, well, then if there's no rules, you have chaos, anarchy. Not necessarily. It's, you know, it's amazing how a group of people can come together and establish rules. Right? You can't do this, you can't do that. And then when that starts, because it's obvious, and here's just a thought. If you have rules, then wouldn't the counter argument be that you wouldn't know how to live in harmony? If you actually know how to live in harmony with nature and fellow creatures, then there would be basically what? Would there be an unstated rule? Or is there just a natural flow when everything is in harmony with one another, that rules really don't matter because there's a natural energy and a presence that's even supersedes it? I don't know. I'm just talking. Oh, Deborah, I like that. No rules, only choices. Oh, girl, you get the high five today. Pamela, we live in duality. I embrace both sides. Pamela, that's taking the purple pill, you know. Right. You're taking the red and the blue. We're going to mix them together and see what kind of new reality that we can do. You know, I love these discussions because when I get back and I go back and I read, particularly in the chat room, it's quite interesting to see there is a flow even with the people that are actually participating. So I like that, Brandy. Words are waves. Now let me make sounds of nice wood. I like that. Yeah. Yeah. Well, y'all are the best. Thank you for being open-minded. And, you know, this is just a discussion. It's one of the things that I'm challenging myself to. And then because, you know, there I use that term. You know, I see folks within me, there's a better place. And it's above all the rest of these self-made constructs. There is a place that's even above what we would see as death. Yeah, there's more to this. There's neither a heaven nor a hell. Both of those constructs within each other collapse because you would have a perpetual reality of one that's not defined or even, you know, well described. There's something more, folks. I just know it. Of course, like I asked someone earlier, I said, prove to me you have a soul. All right. I have gone way over, folks. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. All of you. It has been a delight. It's an honor to come here. It's a pleasure. I look forward to this. I miss you folks. I really do. It's a place that I find like-mindedness, and it's very peaceful. I have to tell you, it's therapeutic, as they would say. So thank y'all for being my therapist for the day. All right. Much love to everyone. Be of service to yourself and to others. And look forward to having tomorrow with Miss Trina and then Wendy Hastel, and then Gary on Wednesday. All right, folks. Much love to you all. Thank you, moderators. Thank you, all the rest. Y'all are just beautiful people. I know it. The soul's overrated. Way to go.